Obviously, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial has been this week, and it's been just a perfect example of the split in this country, that people watch the exact same thing and just see it in completely different ways. So there are two videos I want to throw to here. First off, half of the internet, half of Twitter, which maybe I should be spending less time on, have no doubt about that. Yes, half of Twitter was going crazy because the judge, his phone rang during the trial, and you're not going to believe what his ringtone was. Take a listen.
I don't think that's necessarily what I'm supposed to do. But I think the court has to make some findings as it relates to the bad faith on the part of the prosecution. And if the court makes a finding that the actions that I had talked about were done in bad faith, then I think both elements.
If you didn't quite catch that, the judge's ringtone was "God Bless the USA," which I'm not even going to bother showing you the amount of blue check Twitter people who were saying that he's now a white supremacist. This is the call of MAGA and Trump. I mean, just absolute insanity. Lauren, I know you've been paying a lot of attention to the trial, so any direction you want to go here.
Well, so first off, this is not the only time that the judge has had his phone ring with that ringtone. It happened several times today. Just the jury has been dismissed for the weekend, but there's still a meeting between the defense prosecutor and the judge. This has happened several times just today. This judge is more popular than me, I tell you, because his phone is just ringing off the hook nonstop. But it's very strange for the left, who, oftentimes it's the right that is alleging that the left is not patriotic. You don't actually love your country. And we hear the left go like, no, that's not true. Just patriotism is not just for the right. And I agree that it should not be. But then here we see very clearly that when confronted with a song that is obviously patriotic, God Bless the USA, they are so quick to connect that to white supremacy, Donald Trump, MAGA, political bias. It's like, wait a second, I thought you guys were arguing that this type of thing was for everybody. Now, all of a sudden, because it suits you and you're trying to paint the judge as biased, you're saying it's this, I guess, dog whistle toward the far right, which is ridiculous. He's also been called a racist because he referred to like Asian delivery that the jury had ordered as an Asian person. I don't understand how that is racist in any way, shape, or form. But I think they know the trial is not going the way that they want. So they are just looking at anything they can pick apart to say this was biased, retrial, et cetera, et cetera.
Lauren, you're obviously a self-hating Asian because you're not offended enough, right? Stu, what do you make of the trial? Just generally speaking, what do you think is happening here at this point?
Well, first of all, I do want judges in our justice system that know how to put their phone on silent. Yeah. And that is a real problem. We do need to solve that one. It seems like the left, though, just wants him to have the Soviet national anthem instead. And then they would be fine with it. I don't mind my judges liking America. I think it's actually kind of a good thing. And we have a justice system that is supposed to push back against Twitter. And you're seeing in the Rittenhouse saga that this is what happens when you turn that justice system over to people who are on social networks. This is a social network fueled trial. It should not even be a trial at all. We have video of every moment of this, and anyone who watches it can clearly see he's in a position of self-defense. A couple really important parts of what you see on video where someone comes up to attack Kyle Rittenhouse. He brings his gun up and points it at them. They back off, and he does not fire. That is crucial to what is in his mind at this time. And we're all going to, I think, agree that he should not be convicted of these really harsh charges. However, that's not really enough. It's not enough for him to just get an acquittal. They've ruined his life for a year. And while I think you can sincerely look, because I have a 10-year-old son, and in 7 years, I am not going to advise him to take guns to riot scenes and try to patrol them. I don't think it was a good decision, and you can criticize that decision. But this is a court of law. We can all talk on Twitter. We can talk on the internet about what we think the right choice was as far as his travel plans for that particular evening. But when it comes down to the law, This is supposed to be open and shut. And in this case, it shouldn't have even been open. There's no reason with the amount of video that we have of this case that it should have ever been able to get to this point.
I think what's happening here is what we've seen so often lately, and it's the two courts in which we're prosecuted. One is the court of law, and the other one is the court of public opinion. And the court of public opinion is very quick to rush to judgment, and that's what we're seeing in Kyle Rittenhouse's case. Honestly, you guys, I think if you were to poll the majority of Americans who are like kind of on the surface following this case, I don't think they realize that the victims, and I will call them victims, the two men that were shot by Rittenhouse, three if you include the survivor, were all white. I really don't think people realize that, honestly. If I'm being completely honest, it wasn't until recently that I did. I just assumed, he was at a Black Lives Matter protest. And the way the left has reacted to this and the divide that we've seen in regards to him and calling him a white supremacist, I just have figured the people that were killed and the one that was shot were Black. And I still think there's a lot of people that believe that to this day. So the fact that the victims were all white is kind of being glossed over by the left. I think that's really telling as far as how they want to paint the picture of this trial and what's going on in the court.
No, it's a great point. The guy shot 3 white people without getting into the specifics. So it's like he's not doing white supremacy that great.